I personally would never lie, but if somebody just wanted to offer me scot-free is what I'm
Cassie
saying.
didn't come at Diddy criminally though, did she?
She didn't come for him at all.
No,
she was a whistleblower.
She was trying to come civilly. It was civil.
Yeah, she was about to come
and
civilly.
then it turned criminal
and
because
then they
of
said, she threatened. She was like, we can make this criminal. Like her lawyer came
No,
Diddy.
she did try to take him to civil, and then he paid like literally in 24 hours.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Like it was that quick.
Because what happened was,
But then I think it got picked up because it was so bad and state lines were crossed.
The feds came and
so
and
what
charged him
happened
for that,
was
yeah.
her lawyer. She was writing a book. Her lawyer went to Diddy's people and was like, "Hey, we about to write this book. It's a tell-all book. It can implicate you on something. You can pay us and we'll take it out." He was like, "No, fuck y'all." So they said, "All right, bet." And they came back and they said, "We could take this to court because there's evidence."
No, they were about to. They were going.
They
Actually,
said
they did.
That's what they
filed.
said.
They filed civilly, and then he settled.
He said, "We're about to take this to court because there's evidence that we can go against you." He was like, "I don't care." And then they took it to court, or they tried to. They filed for a motion to bring it in.
No, they did. Yeah.
And then
24
he was
hours
like,
he
"All
paid.
right, bam, paid." But it already fucked them up because it opened the door, and they were like, "Well, what was in that book?"
Well,
and then they had to give it up.
I don't think it was just what was in that book. I think it was when she was talking about what he did to her in the abuse aspect. And then it became, you have cover-ups, you have state lines being crossed, which is considered human trafficking. The hotel that aided and abetted and deleted the footage. So then she's still a victim in her situation. It was like a multi-layered situation.
Yeah, no, she opened the door and it was over with. He should have paid that money in the beginning. He would have been straight.
But I think that's part I think it's part of why she did it.
Bro, he had dragged her, bro, off the floor.
No, but that video ain't came out. That video's they've had that video since like what, 20?
Forever, but
all videos. Of him dragging her?
Yeah, that happened a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. But that shit gonna happen.
That was the first time I've ever seen it.
No, that was the first time they put it out. Yeah, they put it out because of what was happening.
Yeah.
Well, he bought the footage.
Right, but it was an extortion thing, I think.
Yeah, somebody gonna always have a copy.
Yeah.
So once they saw that he was under fire, they were like, "Oh, they going after him?"
Well, because I think I don't even think it was that. I think it was if I accepted the money for this and she was stuck in this bad situation, I'm just as bad. So let me give this to you so you don't throw my hotel under the bus, because I don't even remember the name of the hotel.
I don't think they revealed that.
No, because I think they gave it.
They did, but I don't know. I don't remember.
Because the hotel security team deleted it when she tried to go to the police.
The folks kept an extra.
And they kicked her on the floor. That shit.
That was crazy. That was so crazy.
Hot place for that.
Y'all seen that they were talking about the jury selection?
He going to jail
for him. I saw a video where a girl came out. She was like, "Diddy? He looks like a fuzzy koala."
That's the Asian shit.
Yeah, he looks like a fuzzy koala, and he was looking at everybody like this, very intently, eye contact with the entire crowd. It was very weird.
I haven't seen any of that. I think it's going to be really hard to find a group of people that have zero insight.
I think it's hard to do that when it's somebody who's a celebrity. It's just hard. You'd have to get a bunch of
But I mean, this is going to be a long case because it's going to have to keep getting dropped, because there's no way that you just know nothing about any of these people and have no bias whatsoever. Or they let him keep it and then it gets dropped because it's not a fair trial and then he can't get tried again, right?
I've always thought that was bullshit when it came to jury anyway. The jury gonna know about these people regardless.
No.
Any celebrity, I feel like there's no way.
The only way a jury works is if it's a random person. When it comes to celebrities, it's
over
hard.
with. Like a nigga like Diddy.
Like a public figure, anybody who has any
like
publicity.
OJ? How they got, there's no fuck, bro.
Like,
everybody on that jury knew the fuck OJ was, bro.
Yeah, there's people who don't know us, so putting them on the jury is fine.
But I'll say back in the day, it was probably easier because you don't have TV, so you're not so in tune. Like,
but now,
we know if they're farting in public.
No, for real.
Exactly.
Like,
if it's a public figure, it's over with. So
they need to come up with a new. I mean, we're doing everything else new. Come up with a new system for
unless
them.
they find a way to like bring in the jury, but not tell you who you're being a juror for. It's just you're basically hearing the case.
No faces.
Under voices, no faces. Not using names or anything like that, keeping it undercover.
There's all kinds of loopholes with that. They have to see their face because, you know what I'm saying? Like,
a good
lawyer, oh yeah, he guilty.
Bro, a good lawyer will make them niggas come out, bro.
Did you guys see the Met Gala picture that they did in the bathroom?
Yeah.
I recognize one celebrity out of that whole picture this time.
There was a few people in there.
I'll say in a case like that, like if you show me a picture like that and you're circle everybody you recognize, and then those are the only people that I can sit out for, that would probably be the only way to do it. Because there are a lot of celebrities that I'm like, who are you? Like I've never, like no shade. you're not in
No,
my
no, I get you.
wheelhouse.
There was a lot of people in that picture who were like, "Who are
There's a
you?"
lot of people that make it. I didn't know.
The only one I saw was Doechii, and then the black dude, with the little, he got his little scruffy beard.
She's talking about Lakeith.
See, you knew what I was talking about. You knew what I was talking about.
Lakeith was in there. I know. I saw.
Those
I saw
are
a
only
few.
two people that I
Yeah,
recognize.
that's what people were saying though. Who are these
Who
people?
are you?
But that's just how it is, man. Celebrity court case is gonna always be weird. It's gonna always be weird. I don't know what they can do. I don't think there's a
This
solution.
is going to last longer than Trump's presidency,
You think so? You think his case gonna last longer?
for sure.
Nah, I think it's gonna be over in 2 years.
2 years.
Because he's black.
Yeah. Let me get that nigga up out of there.
This young thug case was about
definitely.
4 years long.
It was a year. It was a year.
It was only a year.
a year. And
He
some
was in
change.
jail for longer. He was in jail for like what, 4 years?
No, like 2 years, 3 years.
I think it was
he
longer than
was?
that.
Oh, dang.
2.5 years, I think. He was in jail.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Maybe it just feels like forever.
It did. Yeah.
Cause like I feel like YF and Lucci been in jail since I moved here.
Lucci was in jail for a long time.
Lucci
He was in
been
jail for like 3 years.
is he out yet?
Yeah, he's out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's out now.
They locked him up.
Gone.
Get that nigga out of here.
Quick.
That nigga, that shit happened though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Kind of like Trump stuff, but he's still out and about.
But, you
Imagine
know.
if he was in Fulton
like-
County.
It's playing in our face. But anyway, welcome to the bridge, ATL, y'all. Y'all know who I am. It's your guy, Ty. With me as always, Kel.
what's up?
And we have Ashley.
Hey.
And today we're going to actually get into some political stuff. It's been about 100 days since Trump has been in office. He's been rumbling. He's been shaking. I don't think he really been cooking, though. More like burning.
Burning some stuff.
But before we get into all that, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, to all of our different pages. And yeah, let's get into it. So Trump's 100 days. It's been an up and down cycle, man. I want to hear y'all's thoughts, y'all opinions. Like, how we feeling? How we feeling? It's been 100
Listen,
days.
I have a listen. Y'all niggas, man. Let me tell y'all. So many people out here. If you really pick this man over Kamala, like in real life, I just want to know what y'all think in the
You know
comments,
what
please.
they think, though.
Huh?
You know what they think. Like, I want some legit comments underneath, not just like, oh, he gave me $1,200 stimulus check. Like, I need actual reasons for why, as a Black person, male or female, you voted for him. And if you regret your vote, because that's the biggest thing that I want to know.
'Cause listen,
do you regret it?
It doesn't make any sense. I really want to know, like.
I'm not joking.
I
I
had
want to know.
niggas. I had y'all told me a woman in the office just wouldn't make sense. But what he's doing
Too
right now,
emotional, unstable,
Unstable.
unpredictable. Our country would just never work if a woman was in charge, was the basis. They have periods. They're too emotional. Trump is the most emotional man I've ever seen.
I'm really flabbergasted. Like I'm just flabbergasted because it's a point where. I mean, we looked at the statistics of people who voted for this man, right? So that's 60%. Y'all might need to go back to school. Like I feel like a lot of re-education needs to be happening. A lot of y'all are very misinformed. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm talking about like shouldn't have the positions and jobs that y'all have right now. It doesn't make any sense that we allowed this shit to happen. It just doesn't. We're in a trade war. Where he said he's going to stop the Israel and Palestine war, has not done that. Debt's going up even more. He's supposed to stop that. Gas is still going up. He was supposed to stop that.
He said gas, and I almost like lost it when I saw this. He said gas is the cheapest it's ever been. It is $1.93. I want to know right now where gas is $1.93 and what kind of gas are you buying? Like, what is it? Gas is not $1.93.
Like, what kind of gas are we talking about?
Eggs are $5.
We're not talking about petrol.
You talking about that meat?
You know what I'm saying? For
You
real.
can't get that for $1.
We're not talking exactly. You can't even get that for fucking
People
dollar.
were buying eggs on Trader Joe's that they can turn into chickens so that they can stop paying for eggs.
Like, what type of-
because
what
it's
type
so
of-
expensive. People are just having little pet chickens around their house right now. Like, it's wild. Tariff wars is very interesting.
What's that?
No, she's just saying tariff wars.
The tariff wars that are happening.
Oh, yeah.
Like, your phone costs $1,000, now it's $2,000.
I can't.
The Gulf of Mexico. Did you see that they're suing,
yeah.
Google?
The Gulf of America now.
Yeah. It's never been the Gulf of, like, and
It is now.
him thinking, I think the funniest highlight of like last week, because every week there's every day there's something new, right? The funniest thing I saw was that Mattel was a country and not the Barbie manufacturer. When he was asked about how does Mattel feel about the tariffs, and he was like, who cares about their country? Mattel Barbie?
Didn't he like put a tariff on a country that only has animals on it?
He's an idiot.
Yeah, he did. He put a tariff on Antarctica, man.
I said this before. His presidency enables us to really have to manipulate other people ourselves in order to succeed in America, is what it seems to be. Because this is the greatest con job I've ever seen in my life. Like real life hypnotism.
Was it hypnotism though? Or was it just he allowed people to feed into their racism? Because everything that he said that he was going to do, he's done. Everything. People just fell into, they literally allowed their racism to dictate their current state. Like, instead of looking things up and actually seeing, like, what do these things mean? Like, people didn't know Obamacare is just their normal health care.
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh, well, why don't I have insurance? Well, sir, you voted to not have Obamacare. Well, yeah, but I still want my insurance. Well, you qualify for Obamacare.
You see, that's what I mean by hypnotism, because he blatantly told them things that would literally mess up their whole entire livelihood, and they still ran with it anyway, believing that he wouldn't do it.
I think it's too much of an inflated self. You don't understand that you are the DEI hire. Therefore, you hear this term and you're so racist, you think black. That you don't think, oh, well, I'm a veteran. I'm a single mom. I'm a first generation college student. I'm a woman. I'm gay. I'm disabled. I'm a laundry list of things that qualify under diversity, equity, and inclusion. But when you hear DEI, you think black. So now you're a veteran with no health care and no job because you got fired. You're a union worker with no job because you got laid off, because you voted against yourself because you thought you were better.
So I think one of the things with DEI, it does help everyone, right? But I also think it was designed in a way that was loophole anyway for them to benefit from it regardless. Like, yes, it does put them in positions, and it's like, oh, this job has too many black people. We need white people. We need white men.
Nothing has and will ever be passed solely
for the benefit
of black people.
Yeah, outside of anything outside of a white male is probably not being passed. So I think it being removed, it does hurt them in certain ways, but overall, I think for them, it is probably a net positive, which is why they kind of, for white males. Now, if there's white women who are agreeing to it, then yeah, like you're hurting yourself, because women are included in that diversity. Women don't I think women fall into categories and they think, oh, well, I'm white, so I'm fine.
White women is what you mean.
You know, I'm white, so it should be fine. But women fall into the same category. Y'all are usually lumped together when looked at statistically.
No. So it's white men, white women, just for conversation's sake, black men, then black women.
Yeah, if you separate it by degrees of race, but I still think women, y'all have it's race, there's race, right? There's black, white, Asian, Indian, but then there's also gender, right? Men will have our subset of things that we kind of get access to, and then women as a whole, y'all have y'all subset of access.
I think it's based on class. If you ask, it goes white men and then black men and then white women and then black women. I think that's how it really is.
I think it is. I think women
So I give you an example. Let's say you have 4 billionaires. You have a white man, a black man, a white woman, and a black woman. It will go white woman, black man, white woman.
Billionaires, there aren't that many. We throw these around as if there's just so many.
No,
there's not that many.
Millionaires.
Millionaires would be better, because I'm like, billionaires, there are not that many billionaires.
I mean, we can go to 1,000. Anybody that's. But
I'll say, if you think of like a law firm, if it's 2 men, 1 white, 1 black, 2 women, 1 white, 1 black, I would agree with you. Yes, they're going to hire the 2 men, then the white woman, then the black woman. Yes. But in everyday functioning society, I don't think that's the breakdown. I think it's always going to be...
I don't think white women rank higher than black men.
Yeah.
Right?
You should tell that to the Ladies of Liberty and everything else. I think they definitely do. Look at Marjorie Taylor. Like...
I don't think they do. I think in more instances you'll find... I think there's still sexism in the workplace. I think there's still...
but I think there's more racism than sexism.
I think there's
depending on the job
pretty
type.
much both, right? I think I think men are still promoted more than women.
I
Regardless, whether you're black, white, Asian,
It
Indian.
showed that when we had Trump versus Hillary.
Yeah, so we had
So,
we
yeah,
had a white woman running for president, and it was the
They
same
were like,
exact
yeah,
thing.
but they put it on Obama, but they wouldn't put
If
it in Hillary.
if it had been Hillary versus Kamala,
That
Hillary
would
would
have
have won.
completely different race.
Hillary would
And
have
it
won.
would've-
Hillary would definitely
would've
won.
taken it,
Hell yeah.
But it's just there's 2 degrees. Y'all deal with 2 degrees of separation, whereas we deal with 1. We just have to deal with the color of our skin. Y'all have to deal with the color of y'all skin and the
And
fact
y'all
that
Like
y'all
a
don't
don't
double
have-
minority, yeah. A black
you're not a
woman.
man. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to women, there's a 2nd degree of separation. But specifically back to his 100 days though, like overall, like generally how each one of you guys feels, like your opinion, right? So how do you feel? Like looking back, I know you're mad at niggas who didn't want to vote for Kamala.
So,
but
I
like,
mean-
how do you feel personally when you're looking at Trump's like policies and what he's been doing, every step he's made? Like, what are you thinking?
I mean, I got to think about the world in 10 years after he leaves, right? Like that's the thing. I mean, it takes you to what his policies will, how they'll affect us in the future, right? When he's gone, we see how it's affecting the country. We see how it's affecting the world. India is about to go back to war with Pakistan, bro.
They know about to. They bombed them.
Exactly. So it's like, how the hell? What
Hey,
the
hold
fuck?
on. But Pakistan talking crazy.
Oh yeah, they with it.
They said, hey, do it. Everybody in this bitch dying. I said, whoa,
Like, come on,
let's
bro.
calm down.
Mind you, he came in saying, "Oh yeah, when I get in there, there's not gonna be any wars." I mean, you
But that's why I think he makes these such grand statements and we laugh about it, but honestly, like it's really depressing when you think that these have become such like giggleable conversations. Israel and Palestine have been fighting for almost, I think it's been over a year now.
I mean, they've been fighting for
Well,
100
it's
years.
been longer than that, honestly. It's
No,
just
I don't mean like
you mean
traditionally. I
the-
mean like recently seeing dead children on my news feed
Yeah.
every day. I think it's been consistently like a year, right? And now it's like there's another country involved. And I feel like we are making ourselves, like it's just very embarrassing. Like as a country, as a whole, like not just that we can't mind our own business, but just like our own business isn't even good. Like I'm about to leave the country and I'm terrified because like, you know, you have your real ID. They're checking people at the Canadian border that are leaving the US. The way that we're operating right now really reminds me of like Germany when Hitler was in charge. I mean, it's very much giving. If you don't look like this, if you don't adhere to this rule, like it is what it is.
I mean, he is sending people to basically a concentration camp if you are not from.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if you are. There are a few American citizens who have been deported to a foreign country. Like it's very sick. And I think it's easy for us to like make these jokes and go back and forth. But the reality is like, it's sad. And within his 100 days, I think one of the best things that happened with Trump getting elected, and I will stand by this, is it opened everyone's eyes to how racist as a country we still are. Because a lot of people just were very ignorant to the facts that like these are how people feel. Like there are neo-Nazis at people's schools and they're calling the police because parents are throwing cans at their head. Like they're dressed up in KKK uniforms in the middle of the day. I saw a little white kid take a whip to his neighbor's door and was banging on his black neighbor's door, hitting a whip. Where did you get a whip from? Like these things that you would think are just so far gone aren't. Like swimming pools stopped being segregated in 1969. My mom was born in 1970.
Mine was born in 59. My mom went to a school that was actually segregated in elementary school. Like for real. My mother, not my grandmother.
Like your mom.
My mom's like.
My grandma drank out of segregated water fountains. Like we think these things were so far away. And I think that's why we thought it couldn't happen. And now we're here. And now we have rollbacks on education, rollbacks on housing. Children are losing their school lunches because that's too much. We're being told that the average person, they changed minimum wage. The everyday person has too many holidays, so they got rid of Veterans Day. Like this is the person that people voted for. And as a country, as an entirety, the rest of the world is not looking at us like, oh, Trump is the problem. America as a whole is the problem. And I think until we can hold our counterparts accountable for the decisions that we've made, we're going to continue to be at war. We're going to continue to have prices risen. My Fabletics, I have to pay a surcharge and a tariff now because nothing is made here. Saying like, oh, everything's going to be made here. It's not possible. It's not possible. The average American citizen is not going to sit in a sweatshop and make $2 an hour. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not we don't even cut our own lawns. We don't even cook our own food. We don't even watch our own children. A lot of things are outsourced to different demographics. And with every category I named, I guarantee a different ethnicity popped into your head. The person that does your pedicures, the person that does your nails, the person that watches your kid, your nanny, your gardener, your chef, your whoever. And don't come talking about, well, I don't have those things. You might not, but you know somebody that does. And you know what I'm talking about.
That's not me. I don't be doing that shit.
I'm not a part of that person. Okay.
They let her do that shit.
You know what I'm talking. Like, stop with the woe is me. You know what I'm talking about. I don't have a gardener. I live in an apartment, but I know who tends to the weeds outside. Like, be real. We're not doing it. We're not building our houses. We're not doing it.
I want to piggyback on the race thing. I don't think it's just a race thing because, like I said, it's a lot of us, same skin color, that voted for that man too. That put more votes into him.
But I think it's racism because look at how
Kamala.
they talk.
I ain't gonna lie. I think
Hard
the biggest issue is the people who didn't vote.
Yeah.
The biggest issue were the people who said, well, I don't like either one of them, so I'm just not going to contribute at all. And by not contributing at all, you contributed to this problem. So y'all are to blame just as much as the people who voted for him. And I think a lot of people don't take the responsibility of realizing that this country, how this country is ran, how your life is going to play out based on the stuff around you is determined by you. Just because you're one person and you don't want to vote doesn't mean, oh, it's just going to work itself out. That's not how it may have done that in the past, but he won before.
I would have rather all the people, because I don't, and come for me if you want to, I don't believe he actually won based on votes. I don't.
Let's get into it.
I don't think so.
Let's talk about it.
The fact that they really, really encouraged mail-in ballots, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, all these post office boxes are just catching on fire. Like, just blown up. Like, legit blown up in the middle of the street.
Let me ask you real quick. Do you think that was his doing, or do you just think that was his fanatical fans?
Fanatical fans that are influenced by him. If we expect to hold every single person accountable, somebody under our comments is going to say something slick in terms of people are watching you. Children are watching you. Impressionable people see you. You have to watch how you carry yourself. You're a role model. Everybody is looked at as if somebody is looking up to us. Mm-hmm. Why would that not be directly Trump's fault? The insurrection at the White House. He literally said, "Do it."
He told him to do it.
But what I'm saying is, these are things that, yes, I believe is his fault. I do believe people closing voting places earlier to prohibit people from voting was his fault. People not having the right ID when they have 4 forms of ID and then police backing it was his fault because they knew if it came out, it didn't matter. He said it to us. He said, I don't need enough votes. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be president. He said that. And the fact that, everybody was scared in doing these things goes to show he didn't win fair and square, and they knew he wouldn't. But I do think if, let's say, every single person in the world that could have voted, right? At what point would this conversation not be this way? Because then it's like, oh, well, yeah, I didn't care, so I didn't vote. No, every single person voted. So now we have a different conversation. Because now there is no possible way, even with all that stuff happening, that this is the outcome. But now it's like, if you're that passive that you didn't even vote, you're not going to show up to talk about vote recounts. You're checked out. You don't care.
No, that's the thing. If there was a base
level where you had to at least vote, no matter which way you went, if you just had to do it.
Also, if it was required by law.
If it was a requirement, if we held our friends accountable, like, I don't know what that would look like. But if it was just mandatory in a sense where everyone voted, I do think people would feel more accountable into knowing who they're voting for and what this looks like. Because seeing one tweet, and there was a lot of false information out there. That's part of the reason Elon was just flooding the streets with all this stuff. And then not even 24 hours later, can I redo my vote? Can I change my vote? Is this real? Like, that was Googled because people literally didn't know.
I think we underestimate how easy it is to manipulate people just in general. I think that's what it was. Like I said it
was
earlier.
mass manipulation.
It's mass manipulation, mass hypnotism, just absolute.
The amount of black men that said Kamala wasn't, black men and women that said Kamala wasn't black was crazy to me. The amount of black people that said Trump is for them is crazy for me when he straight up did not rent to us. Like, his biggest backer, Omarosa, has come out and said the man is racist.
Off the rip.
And she was Trump down.
I think a lot of it is there's a lot of people on social media. There's a lot of people who pay attention to what's going on, right? But I think the bigger thing is there's a lot of people who aren't. There's a lot of people who don't know these things. There's a lot of people who don't know that Trump, like, based off of, there's just, like you said, there's people who are just checked out completely. Like, they don't realize how effective the government stuff is and everything. And I do think that our system is a little too antiquated at this point in time. We as people have advanced, right? Every generation advances, but the voting is still the same.
But
we still vote like we did when Abraham Lincoln was in office. None of
our rules have been changed.
No.
And I think the biggest issue, and I'm not political. I do not major in this. This is not my thing. This is my opinion. Our country's rules were not set in stone. They were just general guidelines. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just, what do we think should just be the bare minimum? Yeah. And then we can adjust and change. Our issue is we've never adjusted and changed.
No, we've taken those rules and they are our
and like, that's it. There are 10 commandments, and that's that.
We can't. Well, that's what amendments were, right? But even then, right? They don't.
But you should be able to amend an amendment. Like, think about the name. You should be able to change.
The whole point of an amendment was to just add stuff as it goes. And we've had amendments in the more recent years. I think there were some amendments passed in the 2000s, 2010s.
But I'm not talking about passing. I'm talking about in a sense of, like, life expectancy back then wasn't as long. So saying that someone should hold a board seat until until they basically die, I mean, people are probably living till 30, 40 max.
I mean, that was the issue.
Maybe 20.
We've talked about the issue anyway in terms of, like, these old rules, because they said Congress is not supposed to hold Congress for that long anyway. They only held Congress for like 1 day back in the day.
But that's what I'm saying.
Now they hold it now like all day, 24 hours. Like,
because people's life expectancy was so much shorter, it wasn't crazy to say, like, oh, you can have it indefinitely.
Right.
Like, these rules and these things need to change to stop this from happening. Maybe in school, make a mandatory, like, we had government and economics, but maybe, make a rule where, listen to what I'm going to say, a rule where, like, a part of a sophomore, because I was 17 as a senior, so maybe a junior, sophomore has to do a project, and you have to do a project on one of each candidate. It can't just be, I'm picking Democrat or I'm picking Republican. No, you have to do a project on both and sell both of them. Write all the good qualities about both. I need you to write an entire, like, paper on Trump's best qualities. Why would he be a good president? What does he have to offer? What qualifies him other than age, gender? Like, what qualifies him? And then Kamala, do the same thing, all the good things. And then I want you to do another paper and then do all the bad things for both. Why would they not make a good candidate? And that way you're taking self out of it. You're giving all the great things about Trump, all the bad things about Trump, all the good things about Kamala, all the bad things about Kamala. And then you can take a step back and say, okay, now, if you had the power to vote, who would you vote for and why? And then I think people would be able to have a better conversation, because then I'm not just, well, you're dumb. You don't know what you're talking about.
No,
well, you're stupid. You never read.
They'll still, that should
I don't think it would be, because
I think it's
because what they're going to do is, what those kids are going to do is they're going to lean towards, okay, Kamala's going to have more good because he likes Kamala than bad. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe it's a mandatory 5 good things, or
like this too,
you do a dry drop. You don't put the names. You just throw the facts.
That is something that would be very determined by the actual teacher running that class.
Yeah, and that's.
And imagine, you have
people
a teacher.
People
you'll
suck.
have a Republican leading teacher or a Democratic leading teacher, so you can really skew it whichever way for your students. So it's like
That's why I said maybe
it's really
do
hard.
one
I
of
think,
each. Like it's hard, but
I think government and civics didn't teach the stuff it taught you what everything did, but it doesn't teach you how everything affects you.
Yeah.
And how everything, kind of like runs, right? Understanding, and I guess that's political science, right? Getting into how a country
I didn't have poli-sci until college though.
Exactly.
So like
That's the only
understanding
By then it's too late.
understanding how a country needs to be ran. There's certain like things you have to do as far as economies, dealing with other people outside of your economy, military power, just trade relationships, everything. There's a lot.
You know who did it though? And it just came to me.
Who?
Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh yeah, but we don't have stuff like that anymore.
That's gone. That
We
type of shit
literally
is
just
gone.
got rid of PBS.
Yeah.
But Schoolhouse Rock, look it up if you don't know what it is.
They don't have no
All
clue.
I just, like, when you just said we should have something like that, I saw the little bill on the steps. Like,
Yeah,
what is a
chill-
bill?
chill-
A bill
And
is...
Schoolhouse Rock was like, so the thing with Schoolhouse Rock, right? It's good, right? It taught us what a bill was. It taught us a lot of different things, a lot of processes for government. But like I said, this kind of stems back to what I'm talking about is that we need to understand how to actually run a country. I would like a course in schools where they have them run a miniature company, a country. Like you understand what your people are doing, and it's a bunch of like random stuff. It'd be pretty cool if it was like a really educational game. We had a lot of educational games growing up on like websites. And if there's like an educational game that's stemmed in with the course where it's like, all right, here's your country, name it whatever you want. And based on what they do, the decisions they make, is how the country will run. And it kind of gives you an idea of what it's like to deal with a country. You'll have people who might agree with your choices. Then you'll have people who don't agree. And then what do you do when people don't agree? And essentially you fail if your country ends up in a rebellion or something, like a revolt. But you succeed if you're able to at least keep your country from imploding on itself.
I think that's a good idea. I feel like there should... with AI out right now, because I'm not that intelligent when it comes to all of this. But to me, that just sounds like a cause and effect, like an if-then plugin. So like, if I raise taxes, then people revolt and I don't respond well and they kick me out or vote me out. Like, just obviously it's very quick. But I think that would be really cool. Like just a big if-then. Like what happens when taxes are raised?
Why it failed. So it says, so you kept raising the tax without actually paying attention to your people. Yes, you did help out other countries, but your people suffered because of XYZ. Or it can say, yes, you
lowered
did.
minimum wage. People couldn't afford food, clothes, water. They rebelled.
So it'll teach you economics. It'll teach you political science. It'll teach you the branches. It'll teach you just a bunch of different stuff.
Do it. Sell it. Do it.
I think they have politics.
It's like Civ. It's like Civ.
They have politics simulation games and stuff like that.
But I think those games aren't as accessible, right? Think about it like
they're accessible.
They're accessible, but they're not like accessible in a way where
not in a classroom.
They're teaching. Though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want a teaching example.
You can't teach people how to. It's not. There's no.
It's not teaching them how. It's just getting them to understand.
I think it's more like, how does a policy work, and like what is the ripple effect? Like I remember we had a government class, and our professor, he was super chill. I was in Upward Bound. You go for the summer, spend 6 weeks. Shout out to Clarion University. It's where I was at.
I was in Upward Bound too.
It's great, right?
Georgia Southern, yeah.
TRIO program. We've lost all of our funding now, but it's fun while it lasted.
We lost that back with Obama though.
We did. But what I'll say is we had a really good professor who was just not biased. He would not tell us who he voted for. If we asked him what side was better, he wouldn't answer. He'd be like, how about you tell me? And then we just have like an open forum class. And if you were like, I'm a Republican, you're like, I'm a Democrat, and I'm a liberal, he'd be like, okay, why? Other than your parents, like what stands out to you? And it makes you think like those are good things. And then we talk about like the trickle down effect and what happens when you cut the rates, you lower the taxes for the rich, thinking that, okay, now the rich have an extra $10 million to spend. So in my mind, that means they'd go and spend the money, and then it trickles down because then it creates jobs and it does this and then it does this. And our country has done it for so many years and it never works. Never works. And why doesn't it work? Because you give them the tax break. They never intended on paying it anyways, and they never spend the money that then never creates the jobs, and the rest of the economy does not flourish.
Yeah, for sure.
I know for sure. The thing is, when it comes to politics, obviously, is the 1% who pay the lobbyists to basically make the policies. You know what I'm saying? That's always been the main problem. a sense of corruption, basically. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of corruption that's going on within the political offices. Because the easiest way to make a country good is to basically make sure that everybody's good, or at least the majority of people that are in the country are good. But we're greedy. You know what I'm saying? People are inherently greedy. When you get the ability to be at the top, and you have the opportunity to make billions on billions by just being at the top, most people are going to take the opportunity. You look at Trump, I believe most of the things he's doing is because of the 1%. That's why Musk is able to get into an office where he's not supposed to be into, and why he has all of the major tech company CEOs at his inauguration is because I'm lining this up because y'all know I want my money at the end of all of this shit, right?
And not to be funny, but Trump is the broke friend out of the group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and I mean...
But he's the most powerful.
Correct. But it works out because all of them have made so much more money since. Even Marjorie Taylor's little broke behind. When she got in, I don't even think she was worth $500,000. And now she's worth over $5 million from insider trading and everything else. Mm-hmm. Jeff Bezos' money skyrocketed. Mm-hmm. Musk's money is not doing great because of stocks and manipulation, and he's just not a good person. I mean, you know, you got to be a little more quiet.
Right.
But I think a lot of these businesses are flourishing because of what he's doing and what he's putting in place. I don't think he is. I mean, he's golfing, it seems.
I mean, that's all he's really... I mean, like I said, he put himself in a position where, okay, even if I fuck this shit up, I'm going to make money anyway. And that's always been his game plan. It just comes from corruption.
Paid all of his kids
and
out of their clothes,
and
pretended
the corruption
to pay for stuff, stayed at his own hotels.
It comes from all like forms of government. You see all the Supreme Justices are also getting, you know, paid behind the scenes and whatnot for whatever they want to do. And that's all it comes down to if you want to run a good country.
But the world, and I do think we have to bring up the fact that, like, it's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be some level of corruption. You cannot run a country and not do anything that's frowned upon or just not good in nature. If somebody bombs us, we're going to bomb them back, and that's not good, but it's necessary. So don't get confused and think that we're saying that this has to be the 70s and everyone's high and holding hands and lovey-dovey. Like, that's not realistic, and we understand that. Because I feel like people get real left real fast. Mm-hmm. There is a good that's necessary, and there's a level of bad that's necessary. However, we don't have a balance right now. There is not enough, okay, children are hungry and they need school lunches. Children are uneducated, but they need an opportunity to at least try. The thing with the American dream is that you were supposed to be able to come here and be anyone from any background and be able to make it, because it was supposed to be the place of opportunities where we treat everybody with some level of it. As long as you have the idea and you could do it, you could do it. But that's not where we're going anymore.
Do you believe that was really the ideology of the American dream, was to convince people that we were trying to let everybody get a piece of the pie?
I think because America was so... Think about the time when that was. As Americans, we are obsessed with being the best at everything. People will argue with you that our education system is the best and they can't read. Like, we've never been the best at education. I think America was willing to be open to allow everyone to come here. That way we could learn from them. Think about the majority of doctors. When you walk into hospitals, a good percent of doctors are from India. It just is what it is. Why would we be so willing to let them come here and learn if we weren't getting anything?
I always thought we were just stealing other people's like best out of their countries, honestly.
But how are we stealing them? Because we're allowing them to feel like they have the opportunity to come here and succeed.
We created the idea of American dream to steal their best people.
But whether we're not technically, at this point, we have to be careful with stealing, because I do think we are stealing people's children now and selling them. So we're not stealing in that sense.
Literally.
We enticed the idea that you have abilities that you will not in other countries. So I do think we used to foster that. And we used to be really like, if you say that you can come and do quantum whatever, do it. Create it. Now, I'll own every and all aspect of it because it's my business and it's my money. But where else would you be granted the opportunity to play around and even attempt your idea?
Yeah.
So I think that we've left that, and now it's just like, we're Americans, we got this.
I don't think we left it. I think we still have it. I just think that
How? We're deporting them
it was never for
by the elementary schools.
One, it was never for Americans, and it was only for those who actually had real skill or talent wherever they were outside of the country.
Yeah.
That's why he's bringing the South African. Because it's not just
That's not why the South Africans are not coming because of skill or
South
talent.
Africans either. It's only the ones that were farmers out there.
That's not. No.
There's only a certain specific amount because what they're saying is there's more South African white ones and black ones that are actually dealing with that same crisis. These are specific South Africans that they're bringing that are like tied to some kind of shit that with Elon and Trump as well. Like that is like a shadow. Well, not a shadow, but it's like a false flag.
They're not bringing farmers over here though.
No, I'm saying that is what they're saying is the people that they're bringing is a false flag for what he's truly trying to bring over here.
They're white people that are sad that they can't be racist over there anymore.
No, I'm saying like they have ties, like they have real ties. Like there's more than just them. I'm just saying like those specific ones that he's bringing have ties to him and Elon.
I mean, of course, Elon is a white South African, so it's probably his family and
all these
whoever
policies and things that he's trying to put over, like the refugee stuff, is like it's not. These are all false flags.
He's saying it's a guise. It's not.
These are not real.
It
I mean,
seems like
Charlize
he's just
Theron
bringing.
is a white South African.
Yeah.
I don't see her coming over here on a flight.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like what?
Because
and that's what he's saying. It's a false flag in the sense of they're refugees.
Nah,
and
fuck no.
It sucks. What he's saying is this is a two-headed kind of
It's
thing.
more friends. It's more rich friends.
It's friends with stuff that they can provide for them. It's people who can scratch their back.
I don't even think they can scratch their back, honestly. I think they probably owe them something.
That too.
And are doing it because I don't think that
You're
there's...
saying Trump and them owe the South African?
Yeah.
More
I feel
likely.
like Trump or Elon did something weird with them. And if they don't do this, which I guarantee when they come over here, we will hear nothing else about this. By June, we'll hear nothing else about white South African refugees. Because they're going to be living with your taxpayer dollars in some nice development with a pool and a nice car, probably a Tesla. And their kids are going to be going to private school all on your tax dollar because, for one, they can't get an ID according to the rules because they don't have an American birth certificate.
What rules?
For the new True ID.
That don't apply. That will never apply.
But that's what I'm saying. So they don't have an ID. So how are you going to work? If we're getting rid of all the H-1 visas and all the visas for people to work here, you can't qualify for a visa. So how are you ever, as a white South African refugee, how will you ever function in American society and have a job? You're unemployable. So why would we be bringing a literal plane load of people over here for what? They can't do anything. They are going to have to be on government assistance down to the core. Their housing, their car, their gas, every single aspect of their life is going to have to be paid for somehow because they literally cannot work. Mm-hmm. That's scary. We have just children that live here there's people sleeping outside that we walk past. Not that he cares about veterans, just got rid of Veterans Day, but half of our homeless is veterans.
I don't think America ever cared about homeless. Honestly, I don't think any country's ever really cared about homeless to the
But
extent
the
that
amount
they
of
need
money that they're going to need to facilitate housing and dealing with these people, and to his point, even their kids, this is going to be a generational deal that he did with them. It has to be because their children they don't have anything for their children to work. I mean, they're going to have to fake documents because how are their kids going to drive? How are their kids going to fill out the paperwork to go to school? None of this makes sense in what the current administration is doing. You're outside of schools picking up brown children from kindergarten to seniors. You're outside of colleges doing it. You're going into people's homes. You're running through neighborhoods, but we're bringing a plane full of illegal immigrants here. To do what? What are they contributing to society? What are they doing?
Zero. I mean that's the state of the union right now. I mean, like I said, I've said it many times, desensitized. The only thing I can do, or anybody can really do at this point, is just make sure I'm financially stable, and I'm able to overcome anything that he can throw at me.
Well, that's hard. You can't do none of that. How do you make sure you're financially stable? There's literally not enough time in the day. Like, there are people that are working 2-3 jobs. They just lowered minimum wage.
Did they?
Yes. The minimum wage, it was I think this state, federally, they were trying to make minimum wage 17 or 15. They lowered it back down to 7. In some states, they said that they're not even required to have a minimum. So if you want to say $2, you could say $2. Like, we're just setting ourselves up. So how do you even make money? It's like that Black Mirror episode with that man doing that dumb stuff.
Which one?
I think it was episode 2 with the man who like busted his teeth out,
Oh,
and
shit.
did all the weird
who was
stuff.
doing that was the first episode, yeah, with the wife.
But that's
Free's
what
wife,
it's
yeah.
given. Because even think
That-
about
yeah.
about their situation. Now we're all influencers because how are we making money?
That's what he was. Everybody
Basically,
doing
he
something
was a
strange
dumb-
for a piece of change. OnlyFans, really. That's
Think
really what
about
that shit
it.
was, bro.
Seriously, I
that
just
shit
watched it,
crazy.
so that's why.
I
But
mean,
think about
everybody
it.
has to. I don't know. It's a weird
He
situation.
couldn't pay for nothing. That's crazy, bro.
I'm just
Where
waiting
he at?
to see when the other shoe drops, because he's basically all this that he's building up is going to eventually drop, and that other shoe is going to drop, and it's going to be catastrophic for our economy.
What you mean by
It
drop?
already is.
So by the other shoe dropping, like when is everything going to come to a head and crash?
You know how it crashes.
all this influxtions, all these influxtions, and all of that is like, what's going to happen? Is our money going to die? Is our economy going to explode? Like, what's going to happen? The prices of housing is up. The prices of food
Everything is up.
The price of everything is up.
I give
and
it
the money
2
that they're
months.
paying us is down, right? And then you're needing more and more money to do stuff that you could do before. Going out to dinner doesn't cost the same. You could go out to dinner for $20 back in the day and feed 2 people.
Yeah, not now.
Now it's, well,
I just got a cup of soup for $12.
you got that Chili's 2 for $20, man.
I was about to say, I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a 2 for $20 out there somewhere.
But no, it's not
with the
20
cost-
anymore. I think it's like 2 for 25.
It has
or
to
2
be
for
because the cost of
27.
food went up. It has to be.
Yeah, I think it went up. So I mean, you're gonna be eating pigeon knuckles or something like.
And then it makes you wonder, is that why we had the push to this artificial food? So now is it going to be like, oh, if you want chicken wings, it's $40, but if you want this same taste, same just like AI printed, the printed food that they were doing. Like,
I'm just waiting to see when things come to a head. When are they gonna make moves? Because we already know he's gonna be impeached again, right? There's gonna be an impeachment. I would be amazed if he make it sit through his 4 years without.
Bro,
him
I
being
think
impeached.
people are so complacent. I don't see shit happening, bro.
I don't know, man.
I think the
I do
economy-
think this time around though, he did change up his strategy, because around this time last year we had people quitting, and there are still people. There's not people quitting this time. He's just firing people straight up.
and he can't fire them.
Well,
and
there are.
that's so
So
crazy
here's
too.
the thing: he hired competent people in those positions back then.
Yeah, and now he's
now
hiring.
put incompetent people in that position
Mm-hmm.
who are like amazed that they got that position in the first place. So they definitely ain't going to leave.
I think the issue is going to be his rich friends. So I said he's the broke one out of the group, right? So when Amazon's prices, when they're not able to bring everything from China and bring
and it starts
everything,
hurting them.
and I think it's gonna start
Well, I
because
mean, even with the movie thing, they were like, "Hey, he said that movie thing." They're like, "Tom Cruise about to make that call." Hey, man, you can't do that.
but
You
even
can't.
with the movies,
He was
so
saying I think Tom Cruise is a part of his motion picture
Is he?
I don't know.
affiliation thing that he made or
I
whatever.
mean, he's a Scientologist.
Remember,
They're always into weird stuff.
Trump said he had specific people he was appointing to be over like movies in America.
Certain shit.
I could see that.
So they were saying Tom Cruise about to make that call, like, "Hey man, you can't do that. Movies are already
Imagine trying to film Game of Thrones here.
exactly
Where are you going?
you can't."
I was
Oh,
in
that's what you
Iceland.
mean.
I saw where it
Yeah,
was.
he's putting a tariff on filming. Now, first off, how can you even tariff that? Because what are you going to tariff? Them going out of the country? Like, production is all handled over there, and then we come back and we just print the stuff. So what, you going to charge them? Oh, you filmed a movie?
No, I think what would happen is you have to charter those planes. Planes have to submit like coordinates to where they're going. So I think what they would do is
So they're charging them for flying, basically.
no, but I think it's going to be I'm charging you for flying, I'm charging you for fuel, I'm charging you a vacation tax, I'm charging you a work tax. Like think about like VAT and all that. Like they're just going to find new laws.
So just charge them.
So basically, like with the tariffs, I'm in the casino business. We had to buy some chairs. Hit up the dude in China. Chairs $100. He's like, by the way, there's an immediate tax at the border that we have to pay, basically. So it's an extra $100. It's literally double. So now, what's to stop them from doing the same when the people fly over? So yeah, you flew over, but now when you come back, we're taxing all of your equipment for the worth. So if your camera's $1,000, I'm charging you $2,000.
It's crazy.
If they do that, that's how they're gonna get the money.
It's crazy because
Now you're bringing goods from another country.
the whole point of tariffs is just charging for the fact that you're getting
Shipping.
it from somewhere else, right? That's really it. So like tariffing people to film something wherever the hell they want to film it just makes no sense.
I heard they're at
But
the borders
I
in
feel like
Canada.
Oh, I believe it. I just feel like he's at a point now. He's old. And I think tariff is like the main word he knows now. It's just like, yeah, tariff.
He knows 6
Yeah,
words.
tariff. Tariff.
6 words. Is
Put a
crazy.
tariff
Good.
on him.
Really good. Bad. Really bad. Everything's great.
He talked
really
about
great.
Sleepy Joe, but I think he getting there too. So it's
He
like
was there. He wasn't that much younger than him. You know what I'm
they're
saying?
like a year apart, I think. So it's like I think he getting there too.
And Joe's in a lot better shape. I mean, Trump's waistline, I
Let's
know them
be-
pants get bigger and bigger.
Well, let's be real. Being president, it's a stressful job.
Obama was stressed, but Obama ain't never had no belly.
Well, no, what I'm saying is it's a stressful job, and it's not the food part. I'm talking about it's a stressful job, and I think once you get a certain age, and we talked about this before.
That man ain't
Once you
working.
get a
That
certain-
man ain't stressed.
Yeah, he
I don't
shouldn't.
know.
That man is unaware. I think he's genuinely
So you
unaware.
think he'll just write something, send it off, and then his people just like, yeah, do it.
What's the I don't even think he can write because old boy said he can't read. They said they gave him a script for Saturday Night Live and he literally couldn't read it. He looked at it and
Tossed
everybody
it
was
off.
shaking their head. He's an idiot. Y'all think, and I think part of it is we have this expectation that things are supposed to be a certain way because we are America. So how could somebody in America that can't read be president? That just sounds absurd.
That's not crazy because America's the land of opportunity.
But what I'm saying is, I think as citizens, we still hold our country to like a certain
higher standard. Yeah.
So I think when we say these things, they literally sound so unreal that we can't even fathom it. When I read that Donald Trump was only giving correct live updates for what's going on for the United States of America on X, and there was no longer need for press, and that's where he was going to distribute everything, I thought it was a joke because they had a picture of the tweet, and then all the news sources started talking about it. I think the issue is it just seems fake. So it's not going to hit us that like our country is in the ground until we are on fire.
I think he just discovered free will.
I don't.
And I think what I get where you're coming from. He does a lot of things that are idiotic, right? There is a level of incompetence there that is not fake. But I think he also discovered free will in the sense of I'm the president, I can do whatever I want.
And y'all not gonna do shit about it. That's really what it's like. Y'all not gonna do
that's
shit
basically
about
what
it.
it is. It's like you put a kid in the office.
It ain't even that. You ain't never heard like I'm gonna walk in here with the audacity of an average white man. Have you ever heard that?
No, I haven't heard that before.
It's a literal phrase that people give themselves to like have confidence. Have you ever met just an average white man that's not really like?
No,
like he's
I
applying
know
for a
exactly what you
job,
mean.
and
I know
he's
exactly
like,
what you mean.
So that's what Trump is. I don't even think it's that far off, or I think we're thinking too much. Trump believes, and it's been proven, I can do whatever I want.
Hell yeah.
I had people run through the White House. Cool. I got a guy off who killed somebody. Cool. I do what I want. My wife is an illegal immigrant and I'm gonna have her standing right here next to me. Cool.
I got 30 felonies. Cool.
Period. Cool.
I got my mugshot in the White House.
Boom.
Hang it up right now.
Like I can do no wrong, bro. At this point, I feel like I'm making arguments to bomb countries on my iPhone. Nobody cares. I guarantee at this point they're just in a back room like let Trump do whatever he wants and we're just gonna pass stuff in the background.
I
And these are the
definitely
key
think-
talking points. Think about what he said with the new doctor.
I think he has guidelines though.
yeah,
I think if
he
he
told-
breaks any of those guidelines, then we'll see everything. The shoe will drop. But he's been operating within the guidelines of what the party is
I'm gonna
cool
play
with.
golf and I'm gonna talk
Yeah.
a little bit of shit, but like
Because there's no way he can like replace every single person.
what was it? The Surgeon General that just got appointed?
Was it?
I
What?
think, but he sat there in the press conference, looked over and said, yeah, Tyler said she's great. She's really great. Top of her class. Yeah, they're like, well, President, like, why'd you pick her? Tyler said she's the greatest doctor ever. So to your point, I have a piece
Didn't they
of paper.
say that chick is not even like a real doctor or something?
So she is a real doctor. I'm
Okay.
still confused whether it's the PhD doctor or the Save Your Life doctor. So did you write papers or can you save people? And then I think she got whatever she needed to be considered a doctor, but never went in the field and practiced. So if you're dying, I probably wouldn't want her.
Oh shit.
That's
Because she
interesting.
doesn't know. She's never done it. She doesn't, it seems like didn't draw blood, doesn't take blood
Doesn't do all
pressure.
that, yeah.
She finished the theory aspect of being a doctor. She never made it to Grey's Anatomy. She never made it to ER. She never made
So
it.
she wasn't even a resident.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think she did I don't think she did any of that. I think it was like, yay, I graduated. Now I'm not doing part 2.
Damn. Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. So, but to your point, yeah, I think he gets a piece of paper. She's really good, smart, top
Like
of
you
her
said,
class.
free will. Free will. That man just does whatever. He's just like, you know what? I don't even care.
It was, I'll do whatever you tell me as long as y'all get me to be president. So you buy these votes, you control Twitter, and I'm not gonna go to jail. Whatever y'all want, y'all get. You want Africans, get them. You want whatever, get it, do it. And then this little weird shit is, I think, the fall in between. Because tariffs, I mean, Apple can't be happy.
Well, like I had said before, there was that video I saw where somebody was talking about where he got the idea of tariffing China was from his son, who got the idea from an author who swore
yes.
that he was getting it from an economist who wasn't actually an economist because he made him up. So it's like
A lie from a book that his kid
he has
read.
this whole random belief that China is evil. And so now he's just condemning China and they're in a super war of like tariffs, which makes no sense because everything we get is from China. But
Literally.
it is what it is.
I don't want
Definitely want to talk about real quick as you know, I want to wrap here, but I do want to hear what you guys think is the worst policy that he's enacted so far. Which one do you think? For me, it's the tariffs because it affected my gaming.
Yeah. Well, now mine's going to
You
make
raised
you
the price
sound
of my
bad.
consoles, man.
I was gonna say the immigration because the children it's just very sad. Like I hate that I'm paying more for everything, but when I think about officers just being able to like walk into a school and just grab someone, like I don't have a child, but I couldn't imagine just being at work, minding my business, probably not even gonna get a call because how do you call and say that? So then you're just waiting, you go pick up your kid,
And your kid's not even there. They're in
go
a
to the
jail
police
somewhere.
station, there's no kid. Like
I mean, you go to the police station, you about to get taken too.
Depending, yeah.
If
But
they're
I'm
taking
saying,
your child, they're going to take you.
I would rather be taken with my child
Yeah.
than my child just taken because I don't know if you remember, but when it happened the first time, they separated the parents from the kids.
And they had
Hold
to-
on. How's the parent not taken, but the child is? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, they're
If
camping out.
They're getting you at school, so you
Did
send
you
your
not see?
kids
Did
to
you see
school.
that thing about that girl?
But when the mom be like illegal?
No, he took away naturalization. So if you were born here, that don't mean nothing. If your family is immigrants, you're an immigrant.
He's taking
you going
everybody.
to.
So technically, his
Yeah.
son, they should be outside his son's school right now. If we're gonna be, but I think that would have to be the worst so far. I mean, they all suck. I tried so hard to find a good one.
No, that is.
There was literally
No,
no good
that's a
ones.
strong one.
That's
and
the worst.
it does make mine seem kind of childish,
Sorry,
but
but I mean, the terrorists do suck.
in
They
truth,
suck.
in truth, the immigration thing is like that is definitely the worst overall, right? Just personally, sounds kind of bad. Personally, I look at the tariff one because I
It
don't want
affects
to
you the
pay. I
most.
don't want to pay for stuff yet. Like I have to pay more for everything. It's not
Same.
just games. It's food. It's housing. It's everything, man. It's gonna be cars, cell phones,
Gas,
everything.
glasses,
Just everything
all
is going
this
to cost
equipment.
more. So it sucks, and it's like it feels like it's a game that he's playing, and I don't like being a part of a
Manipulated.
game that I have no control in being able to do anything about. Only control I have is voting, which I did do, and I voted against, but. One vote is not enough. Everybody has to be that one vote. Well, no, one vote can be enough.
Literally.
Everybody has to have a vote. Everybody
we
has
have
to
to make
vote,
sure the
though.
votes are counted.
Everybody's got to vote. We just need more people who, when they work on the voting, we need people who are like real about that. Like, don't let just anybody. We need to start volunteering for voting at this point. That's what it seems like.
Well, it's technically what they did this
we
year.
need to have vote gangs. Or
But what
something.
they did was wrong. That's technically illegal.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
You're not supposed to wear anything. You're just supposed to be there. And thank you
Well,
for
and
your
that's
ID.
what I'm saying. Like, if more of the people who probably would have fought for more of an equal voting opportunity, or even voting for Democrats, there would have been a more varied kind of experience, right?
Yeah.
Because then at least I can guarantee that I know I was working at this poll and I made sure the mail-in ballots got to where they needed to go.
So jobs, listen up.
So that's
Because
really what it
people
is.
will need off work. Because people just can't not show up to work to do that.
It's gonna be crazy though.
Pay them, allow for it.
This it
Future
ain't even year
candidates
one.
put it
It
in your
still ain't
budget.
even year two, and we done seen some shit,
It's 100
man.
days, man. I mean,
We just
shit.
made it outside the 90-day warranty that we get for cameras. Like in expensive purchases. What was your worst one?
That was. I mean, immigration is the worst. I mean, he's sending people to foreign prisons.
American citizens
He's
too.
sending American citizens to foreign prison and then lying and saying that they're part of a gang and then using fake pictures as a reason to do it.
Not even that, but there's like
I don't
several
know.
citizens that aren't even Hispanic or whatever that have just all of their paperwork and they're just gone.
He's trying to get rid of the barriers that keep people in the country. You know what I'm saying? If they are getting prosecuted, he's trying to get rid of habeas corpus. I mean, it's
giving human trafficking. This immigration, I feel like, was a loophole
No,
for,
it is. It
for
was
human
last time.
trafficking.
It was this last time.
Taking the kids for
I'm sure
Epstein
there's-
Island, and
I'm sure there's thousands of children. No, hundreds of thousands of children from the last round.
Oh,
when
and
he was
for now,
president.
those children had children. Because that at this point, he started that 8 years ago,
Yeah.
right? So now you got a bunch of 8-year-olds. Because they're stealing girls, women, children, and then all the men are going to prison. Because all those like little when they were joking, like, oh, these are mini concentration camps and tent cities.
They really were,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
You had them in big fences like cattle, I guess, before you sold them.
It's crazy.
I'd be curious to see what all comes out of this.
I'm curious to see.
Like all of it.
I know beforehand we were talking and we were saying, we'll be able to make it through these 4 years. But the way he's been moving early on, like I said, I'm waiting for that other shooter drop, and I'm curious to see. But also, we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
If you're against Trump, what policies did you not like? And if you are for Trump, what policies did you like?
Please tell us, and
If
tell us
you're
if you
from-
regret your vote.
if you with Trump and you make less than 50,000 and you still like that nigga, please tell me in the comments why. I just want to hear it. If you racist, you ain't gotta say nothing. Just put you racist on there and then we can just let it ride.
I don't like the blacks.
Hey, look, you say I'm racist? Understood. Moving on.
Yeah, you got.
I'm not gonna argue
got
with
what you
you.
look right.
There's
You
no
got
back
what you
and
looking
forth.
for.
You
That's your
got it.
answer. Yeah.
You got it.
But in the meantime,
Y'all definitely let us know
like, comment.
what y'all think. How do y'all feel about this first 100 days? What did y'all think about it? Let us know in the comments down below. And yeah, any other closing remarks y'all got, man?
I'm tired, boss.
It's only been
I'm
100
tired,
days.
bro.
We'll do our giveaway this week. So for the whole week, we'll do the free trips for everybody that likes, comments, subscribes. The rules will be on our Instagram, so make sure you look there.
You.
If you want a free trip.
If you want one, but hey, they might detain you.
You
out
might
there.
not be able to
might
come
be able
back.
to come back.
I'm so scared for my trip. I'm so
that's the real
scared.
deal,
I'm
bruh.
so scared. All of us look like we're something.
And we are not liable, by the way. So good luck.
If y'all don't see me, you know why.
Right. But thank y'all for watching. All the information is down below. Make sure y'all check out the pages. Ooh, excuse me. Make sure y'all check out the pages. Follow everything. Follow everywhere. Giveaway information will be coming up. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing.
Please.
Tell your friends about us. Next topic won't be so politics heavy. We promise. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. Tune in next time.
Bye.